Right. Bit more of a straightforward one here. Group E.
Yeah, yeah.
Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. We'll try and get through them a bit quicker because we have been chatting a lot here.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
there's less to say. I think the Germans are just going to be very, very pleased.
It's a classic World Cup group, isn't it? You got your big
Yeah,
team, you got your
yeah.
massive underdog, and you got two good teams. That
Mm.
it's Germany. Big question for them is Musiala. He's not looked the same player since he's come back.
No,
We sort of alluded to this in our previous video that there was a
we
fear
did,
that
we did.
when he
Yeah,
came
yeah.
back, what kind of
He wouldn't
player
be
he
the
would
same
be.
for yeah, yeah.
I
It
don't want
took
to
a
judge it
long
too
time.
early, and what we do have is an informed Serge Gnabry and
Yes,
a in fact having one of his best seasons in years under Vincent Company, which is great to
yes,
see.
yeah,
And
yeah. He's so
and
much better in that number 10 role.
and then we've got young Leonard Carl as well, who is going to be obviously going to be a factor. I think he's going to be in the squad. Florian Wirtz has been in fantastic form for his nation.
Yes, he's coming good at the perfect time for this.
On the international scene, at least, he is looking
Yeah,
fantastic. And Nick
yeah.
Voltemada, I believe in. I know a lot of Newcastle fans are not sold. I like him. I think he's a good striker and he's a good facilitator. He will be able to help Musiala and Wirtz create space. I like Joshua Kimmich. I think he's one of the best midfielders in the
Yeah.
world.
He is. He is. He has been for a long time now.
I really worry about the defense because Antonio Rudiger is way past his prime, is really
Yeah.
injury prone. I like Nico Schlotterbeck. Um, I think he's due a big move. I worry about the fullbacks. It looks like Oliver Baumann is going to be starting in goal because Ter Stegen just has no luck. And when Neuer retires, Ter Stegen tears his Achilles, was it, or was it his ACL? And then when he came back,
What was
he'd
the
lost his
ACL?
place to Chesney and now Joan Garcia, who is a brilliant goalkeeper. Um, so it's an odd team. I think they're the Germans. You expect them to win the group. And like you said, they're going to be happy. I think Curacao, that
Yeah.
opening game, it's a great story that they're here. I think that could get really ugly because the
Yeah.
Germans are known for not taking any prisoners in games like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They are. They show no mercy in moments like this.
Um, and then you got the Ivory Coast, who are pretty good, really good defense. You got Amad Diallo there, who is going to be the player to watch for them.
Mm.
And Ecuador, who had been touted as a big dark horse by us as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Moises Caicedo and William Pacho and Hincapié as well, who's a great player. Notice they're all defensive players though, and what we're noticing
Yes.
about Ecuador is that they are 20 games unbeaten. Say that again,
Hmm.
20. They're in South American qualifying. They're unbeaten against Brazil and Argentina. They've played big European teams, but of those 20 games, I think like 12 of 13 of them are draws. They're going to be that kind of team. They'll beat Curacao. They'll probably draw the other two games and finish second. So I think it's pretty
Yeah.
straightforward here. Germany win the group. I think Ecuador just finish ahead of the Ivory Coast, who finish in third, but do enough to get to be one of the third place teams. And Curacao are in last. I assume you're not going to disagree there.
No, not at all.
And
Sorry
Toronto
to
watch.
see.
We've got a game in Toronto
Yep.
here, Germany Ivory Coast. I'm hoping to go to that game, but I don't have a ticket yet. So that would be a great one to go to. Um, and yeah, what game would you be most excited to see in this group?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'm kind of excited to see Curacao just because it's always exciting to see a great story come to life. I think for me, it's got to be Germany, Ecuador. I think Ecuador are going to be a really great team to watch in this tournament. You say that we all focus, their star players are defensive, and I that doesn't bother me at all. I think in tournaments, especially international tournaments, we've historically seen it is the more conservative defense forward approach that has done well.
Yeah.
We naturally focus on all the star goal scorers and forwards, but I think that's often missing the point here. I always always favor the teams that prove that they can defend and that they can hold out to go unbeaten.
I tell you what about Ecuador. If they're playing Mexico in the last 32, that is going to be the most boring game of the entire tournament.
But the
But
fans will be great.
the fans will be great. But I tell you, if they draw the Netherlands or Portugal or Belgium or a team like that, you better hope it doesn't go to penalties if you're the big team there, because
Mhm.
Ecuador will be playing for penalties. I'm telling you that
Yeah.
now. Group F, another absolutely great group. This group looks straight out of a 32 team World Cup to me.
No, I completely agree.
And I mean,
This is a
I would
particularly tough one to call.
honestly say, game of the group stage for me in terms of entertainment is going to be that Netherlands Japan game. That is going to
Yeah.
be fantastic. We've obviously seen a different side. I guess we'll start with Japan, as we have an England fan with us today.
Yeah.
Not to rub it in, it's fine. It was a friendly. But we saw a different side to Japan there. We've
We
seen the
did.
high
We did.
flying attacking Japan. They get an early goal against England. Was it an early goal in the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, early on in the
Um,
first half.
Kara
Yeah. Uh,
Matoma. Um, and what they did was they sat back and defended.
yeah.
That's not
And
what
unlike
Japan do.
England, they can actually do that.
That's not what Japan do. Japan are the exciting, attacking, free-flowing team. And their two friendlies, they beat Scotland 1-0 and they beat England 1-0. If I was a Japanese fan, that would excite me more than any number of these goal thrillers because it shows a different way of
Yeah.
winning for them. And I was
Mhm.
already quite excited about Japan, and that window has made me think, wow, okay, this is real. This is this is a great team. Now, this is a tough group because as we saw at the last World Cup, Japan beat Spain, they beat Germany, and they lost to Costa Rica. And their kryptonite is a really sturdy, defensive, physical team that don't concede any goals. So, out of all the teams at this World Cup, aside from maybe Ecuador, the one team Japan did not want to play is Tunisia. And people are going to look at Tunisia in this group and say, ah, they'll finish bottom. They might. I think they might beat Japan. If I would be not surprised if Japan beat Holland and they beat Sweden and they lose to Tunisia, and it's a repeat of what we saw at the last. Because that Japan just don't like it. They just don't like having to break down a low block. Um, the Tunisians are okay. They're not a great. They're sort of similar to Bosnia. They're not a great team, but they're going to push you and shove you. And Hannibal Mejbri's a good player, but yeah. Um, yeah, I want to hear what you're thinking about this group. I'm just excited. I like this group a lot.
Yeah. I think this is another kind of classic World Cup group. Hard to call because we've got a lot of teams on a more similar level, which is always a lot more exciting as a neutral to see. I think the Netherlands are always going to be the ones to watch. I think the Netherlands are the greatest footballing nation to never win a World Cup by
Yeah,
far.
no doubt.
And
Sorry,
I mean,
Portugal.
yeah, yeah, but I mean, I think was it three finals they've lost now? Um, and I think that their team is perhaps not as strong as it was a few years ago. I think there's been a little bit of maybe wasted potential in some of their young talents, but even still, I think they've got a solid defense that, again, you don't want to go up against. I think that will be a particularly tough challenge for Japan,
You've
who are
really
the
undersold that. Mickey van der Ven, Jurien Timber, Virgil van Dijk. That's a solid defense.
it's a solid defense. I mean, my fear for them is that we don't often see them. Re I often think that we in the last few tournaments we've seen them kind of just fall away when it mattered most. And I think I would expect them to do well, but I don't expect them to go that far in this tournament.
they're guaranteed quarterfinals for me, unless they get a really really unlucky draw.
Yeah, I
Um,
think quarterfinals and that'll be that. I'd be surprised if they make it to the semis. I think it'd be great, but I would
I
be
think
surprised.
it's like guaranteed last 16, very likely quarterfinals, possible semi-finals, not happening final. You saw them at the Euros. You know, they played well. They did lose to Austria. They finished third in their group, but then they hammered Romania. They beat a very good Turkey team, and they pushed England all
Hmm.
the way.
Yeah.
And at the
They
last
were
World Cup,
unlucky against England. They were really hard done by with what I don't think should have been a penalty.
mm,
Uh, but they were still clearly the weaker side, and they I don't see goals in this team particularly. And as
well,
great
this
as
is
their defense
yeah,
is,
it,
you're not playing for draws here.
it is one of the best defenses in the World Cup. It's one of the best midfields. When you can start a midfield three of Frankie De Jong, Ryan Gravenberch, and Tajani Reinders, wow,
Yeah,
that is that is special.
an excellent base there. But I don't see any where the goals are coming from.
And this is the thing: is a lot of their goal source from the Euros came from Cody Gakpo and Xavi Simons and Memphis Depay. That was sort of their starting front three.
Mhm.
Memphis Depay is one of those international footballers. You know, he'll probably score a couple goals. He'll do all right. Gakpo's
Yeah,
form has fallen off a cliff this season, as has Xavi Simons. I mean, no one at Spurs has done particularly well.
no,
So it's hard to know what they're doing. Daniel Marlin is absolutely ripping it up with Roma at the moment, though. So he's one to
yeah,
watch out for. He
yeah.
might get the nod in that front three.
I kind of
Interested
hope
to
he
see,
does.
interested to see what they do with Dumfries and Frimpong because they've been experimenting with having Dumfries at right back and Frimpong on the wing, having them sort of overlap. That's exciting. There's a lot of options here. I just don't. If they had a good goal scorer that you could rely on,
Hmm.
even Cody
Yeah,
Gakpo last season, that's all
yeah,
I'd need, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Rather
But
than
I
bringing
just
on Wout Weghorst for a corner.
and then you got Sweden, who, by all intents and purposes, are rubbish, but they're also not. That's my
No,
analysis because
I kind of get what you mean there.
in the qualifying phase, infamously, they finished bottom of their group, below Kosovo and Slovenia. Um, and because of their Nations League performance, got a spot in the playoffs. And they then, I can't remember who they beat in the semi final, but they beat a very good Poland team who had really started to turn things round in the playoff final, thanks to Victor Gyökeres. Um, and I think if Isak's back and fit, and if Victor
I
Gyökeres has good service, which I think he has done in the last window, Anthony Elanga's a very strong winger. I like Hugo Larsson and what's the lad at Tottenham called Bergval as well. Um,
Mhm.
Good young players in the midfield, but it is all attack for Sweden.
It
Similarly
is.
to
It
Japan,
is.
which even though I've said Netherlands, Japan, silver medal for Japan, Sweden, especially if there's a lot on the line for that game, that is going to be brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think that it's there's not quite enough time for Isak, sadly. I think he's going to be
I think he'll play. I think he'll
really
play.
pushed. I think he'll play. I wouldn't expect him to be playing well. I think
No,
it's going to be a really really tough a test for him to be that soon from an injury, and the fact that his confidence will be absolutely shattered from his poor form when he was playing this
yeah,
season for
it's just so
Liverpool.
sad that the game he got injured was his best game by far. That was it. Spurs
It's always the
away.
way.
It was Spurs away, I think, and he'd scored and he's playing really well, and then he got injured, and it's like, man. But Gyökeres, I actually really rate Victor Gyökeres, and I think a lot of the reason he struggled at Arsenal is a lack of service from their wing
Yeah,
play, which has been really poor this season. Um,
especially by their standards.
Saka has not had a good season at all, and
No,
not
no.
enough people are
But
talking
we'll
about it.
we'll get to that. Yeah.
So I think for this group, I think it's in the order that we've got here for
I think
me.
it's already in the order, yeah.
Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia, but I could see Japan topping it. I could even see Sweden or Tunisia finishing above Japan because I don't really know. We don't really know what we're going to get from Japan, but I want to believe
Yeah.
in the promise. I think Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, Tunisia. That's what makes sense to me. We've got to mention as well that Wataru Endo is is likely to miss the World Cup as well, and he's their captain, Japan's captain, a very important player for them.